share, I want you to listen, take your notes, and make it count. Do we agree? And don't shout down anybody. No matter how stupid you think their opinion is, if you listen well, you will realize that you might be the foolish one for thinking that somebody else's opinion is foolish. Because there is wisdom in every person, but you must listen. Because they might have a view different from yours, but it doesn't make you stupid. So I'm laying the cards so that we can get the most value for what we're going to do. Don't forget, we're doing this today and we're doing it tomorrow. That's how important you are to us. To move our entire bank, including the chairman of the bank, to come here for 2 days, you're really privileged. So you really have to manifest that. But anyhow, I want to start. Today is about a project that I started in June, and it's called the Life Series. And normally, this is the first campus edition of Life Series. So you are the most privileged university. And since yesterday, when for the first time I posted on Instagram that we were starting the campus edition of Life Series, and it will take place at my alma mater, every kind of university has sent me a message requesting for us to have one on their own campus. But that's for another day. You're the first fruit. So blessed you are. Why did I develop the Life Series as a project? I realized that you can have all the certificates and have all the jobs, but if you don't understand certain things about life and tie them together with your career or your business ambition, you will not achieve what you need to achieve. I've seen many really smart people with first-class degree amount to nothing. And I've seen very smart people with great jobs and great careers have a miserable life and commit suicide because their life isn't working. So I want you to understand that it's about your total life. And normally, my sessions have had female-only sessions, men-only sessions. It's the first time I'm combining the two. Our actual first combination will be on the 15th of December, when we have a major program for 1,500 people, that is men and women together. So you're my first combined class. Now, what is important is also that you're getting it earlier, because I work with people from ages 25 and above on that project. But I believe that if you get certain information at an earlier stage of life, it helps you to avoid making some mistakes that people have made before you. So I want you to take this seriously, and whatever you write or you take away from here, I want you to be able to share with others. The only way I get paid for the things I do, as I say to people, is that if I've given you my time and I've shared my own knowledge, you will pay it forward to other people. That's how you pay me. By sharing what you learn or what you think is tangible out of whatever we share, share it with somebody else so we can extend the knowledge and build a nation of citizens that can stand. That is a project for me. And that's what the bank is offering you today. Now, you would see that there are 3 core areas to the Life Series. It's personal growth, it's business and career, and it's about building relationships. Those are the 3 components of your life. At the end of the day, relationships across different areas, whether it's marital relationships or friendship relationships or work relationships or whatever, you're interacting with human beings every day, and that's relationship. Business or career, whichever part of it you fall into, and your personal growth from where you are to wherever you want to be. Okay, Who is controlling my slides? Okay, so you have to follow me. All right, let's start. Now, we're going to start with a reflective exercise. And you are going to have to write, so I hope you have a pen and a paper. And the most important thing about this is something that William Shakespeare said, which is, to thyself be true. You know, most of you have an image or you have a posture that you present to the world. Most people are forming, as you people say. I hope that's the right word. They have an attitude, they have a public life and you have a private life. But in reality, there's a point where you can get confused as to who you are. Because you're pretending so much, you forget the truth about yourself. And the essence or the risk of that is, if you don't really know who you are, and you're not true to yourself, when you're making decisions, you're likely to make decisions based on wrong basis and go in a direction that doesn't necessarily support where you really want to go or who you are. So what you're writing down, I'm not going to ask you to read it to me. You don't ever have to show it to anybody. It's like writing a letter to yourself. Do you understand? For once in your life, I'm asking you to be true to yourself so that you can reset the journey of your life and from there build forward with integrity with yourself. The totality of our life is the summation of our everyday decisions. And every time we're making decisions in life, we have options. But what affects the choices you make amongst the options that you have is your understanding of yourself and where you want to go to. And therefore, you make the right choice to help you get to where you want to go. But it's important that from the onset, you make up your mind that you're going to be true to yourself. Otherwise, this exercise is useless to you. If you're not true in answering the questions, you're wasting my time and your time. And it's better that you give up the seat and give it to somebody else that is waiting outside to come in. So, to thyself be true. If you've never intentionally been true before, today, I want you to be true to yourself. Answer every question truthfully. Remember, it's you facing the mirror. You're not talking to anybody else. It's your personal book. You can go back and rewrite it and read further because you might not have enough time. But you will have all the questions. So write the question down first, always. And then start to answer it. And when you get back in the privacy of your room, sit down and think through what you've written. And try and reflect. And try to determine who you really are as a guide to where you really want to go to. To yourself, be true. This will be your guide for the entire evening. In every conversation we have, I'm hoping that you will be honest with yourself. First question. Where are you right now? And I'm not asking if you are in Ojuduwa Hall. So when I say where are you right now, in your life, in terms of the journey of your life, where are you? I know you're in university, but that's just an academic part of your journey. Where are you right now, as in who you are, where you are? Where do you think you are in terms of your journey? Yeah, I've watched many people do this and stare into space and stare at me as if I have the answer. I have the answer for me. I want you to find the answer for you. Where are you right now in terms of your journey? If you're writing, raise up your hand. Okay, some are writing because I can see too many people staring at me. Don't worry, I'm not your professor. I'm not going to mark your paper. So, you're writing the scripts for yourself. If you're done, put up your hand. Let me caution that you will find that you will go back and you will sit down and you will have to reflect more on whatever you've written. You can write and rewrite and continue to adjust as you journey along life. Because along the journey, you'll have a better understanding of some of the questions. Next question. Who do you think that you are? Not that you are a student of BSc Economics or something like that. That's not what I'm asking. I'm talking about you, the person that you are. Who do you think that you are? You know, if you don't know who you are, you don't know who should be your friend. You don't know who you should marry. Because a lack of sense of yourself will make you marry the wrong person because you have no way of measuring that this is the right person for who I am. So who do you think you are? It will affect more things than you can imagine. And for you, you're getting to do this early. Puts you at a major advantage. It's by some people who have taken part in the sessions. As I put out the Instagram yesterday, that will be in Ife today. Wow, lucky people, they get to do it early. Sharing their own experiences based on what they've learned from the program. I think I'm stressing your life now. But I'm sure I'll meet you somewhere later and you'll thank me for today. I have no doubt. I'm done writing. Like 20% of the whole. I'm still writing. 1%. I'm not writing at all. Like 0%, which is a lie. Because I can see everybody from where I'm standing. Anyway, make sure you write the question down, even if you don't write the answer now. And go back, and sit, and think. Next question. I'm going to keep moving. Now, why do you think that you're going? Because life presents you many options. Always. So, where do you think that you're going? Do you even know why you're in why you're in Obafemi Awolowo University of Ife? Do you know why you're here? Do you know why you're in the course that you're studying? Do you know why, if you are dating, why you're dating this boy or that boy? Or this girl or that girl? Do you have an idea? Do you have a vision ahead? Where are you going? If you don't know where you're going, how do you plot a plan to get there? Or you're just living accidentally, as most people do. Most people just follow life as it happens to them. Oh, they're employing people here. It doesn't matter if it aligns with where you want to go or what you want to do. And you get locked in for 30 years of your life into a job that you hate every day. Where do you think you're going? What is your personal vision of your journey, if you have any? Many times students are quiet in the examination hall. They tell that this one is not an examination hall for certificate. It's your personal exam to yourself for your life. There are always options. Life always gives you options. So if you don't know where, how do you choose which one? Whatever you do, write the question down and go back home and complete it. Guy, if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there? This isn't a question, so to speak, to answer. It's a question to make you understand why the previous question is important. If you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there? Any route will look good. But if I'm going to where Prof is, I know that I cannot go here. It doesn't matter that I like the steps or I like the colors along the way. There's a reason why I will go in this direction, even though there's a barrier. And if I turn like this and go like this, it's because I want to bypass the barrier to get to Prof. Because I have a destination, I can plot my journey. But if I have no destination, I can like the face of someone there, that's why I go there. I can detour from there and stop by somewhere else again. There are many people who are living their lives coasting. They're just following the crowd. Everybody is doing this, so it's okay. This is where everybody is going, that's why I'm going. You wear this style not because you like it, but because it's fashionable. Why? You make your hair one way, even though it's causing you pain and discomfort, but it's what everybody is doing. I could have come here this morning to impress you in nice heels and suits and all of that for what? See, I'm wearing canvas. And I like it because I'm going to stand for a long time. And I'm most comfortable in jeans and a shirt or a t-shirt. Why? Comfortable in myself. Who I am is different from the offices I hold. Office will come and they will go, but I will remain. So I have to know who I am. Because it helps to define how I conduct myself in the offices of my life. If you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there? I've seen too many people live, look, On 1st of October, I had a session with women over 50. These are women, different professions, or married to men with different financial capacity and social status. But I've seen many people surrounded with things that are miserable. Because if you really don't know where you're going, life just happens to you along the way. Well, everybody's complaining. My children, a lot of women are sitting at home now to take care of their children. They make you feel bad that you're not at home to cook for your husband every morning, every afternoon, and every night, or look after your children. Well, I can't. Not because I can't cook, but because at this stage of life, or at many, many stages of life from behind, that became a tough task. What is my responsibility? There must be food on the table in my house, as the mother of the house. So how do I solve that problem? That's my problem, not yours. How does raw food get into my kitchen? Nobody's business, mine. So whether I choose to use a company that delivers all the raw foods to my house, or I have a cook, or I do it any other way, as long as I deliver on the task without losing sight of who I am or why, I make the choice. I don't respond to society's definition of who I should be in order to define who I want to be and how I live my life. There are women who are even in high offices who on Tuesday were literally in tears based on things. I took them through the same questions before making a different conversation from you. But it forces you to evaluate and see. If you don't know where you're going, you're never really going to get there. Some accidentally find themselves there. But how many accidents must happen? When you can live life a little more deliberately, even as you walk with God as a person of faith, if you're a person of faith. For those who might say, oh, but I'm a Christian, the Bible says, whatsoever you put your hands to do, which means you have a part even in what you choose to do, and then God honors and walks with you. Next question. Okay, so this is where you can dream. Average age in this room is what? I'm not talking about the profs. You're all young enough to dream for the future. Yes. My prof said maybe 30, maybe a few are older. But it's even irrelevant. And let me explain that. You know, I've seen too many people end life with regrets. When they get to their 70th birthday or their 80th birthday and they look back, there are too many I wish I had. I wish I hadn't. I wish you're at an advantage. You're young. Stop wishing. You can start planning. So now I'm asking you, I want you to close your eyes and think of your 70th birthday. And think that there's a book about your life that has been written. What would you like to read in the book of your life at 70 or 80? How do you want your story to be told when you get to a stage that, in inverted commas, could be your retirement age? How do you want your life and your legacy to look like? Why am I asking you to think about it now? Because if you dare Put all your phones on silent, please. Because if you dare to be honest with yourself, to have a sense of it, you won't have the perfect story. You'll have a sense of what you want your life to be. You want to be recognized as a person of integrity and of honor? Or do you want to just be the man who has had money and has been ashamed or disgraced? Or you want to be the one that has built the biggest business in the country in one area or the other? Or you want to be the best professional in one area or whatever? What do you want your 70-year-old story to be? Why is it important? If you have a sense of what you want it to be now, you can walk back to where you are now and chart a path. And every time you get to a place of conflict in decision making, you can make a choice that allows you to move closer to the journey you have set for your 70-year-old self. You can create a guide, always with some room for flexibility, because life throws different things at us that can reshape and reorder our lives. I wanted to be many things. I'm sure if you sat in these sessions here before, I've told you the story. Before I came to Ife, I wanted to be a doctor. And then I realized that medical school, they use real dead bodies. I changed my mind. I was not sure I could deal with cadavers or whatever they call them. That was the end of the ambition. Then I thought I wanted to be an architect. Anyway, I ended up in Ife to study chemistry. By the end of my first year in chemistry, I hated it. And then everybody thought I would make a great lawyer because I was good at debating. I used to debate for Methodist Girls High School. And so I was best speaker, in Lagos State speaking competitions and stuff like that. So I went, oh, you can win an argument. You make a great lawyer. So I thought, maybe I'll study law. I remember that I used to go and sit in front of the office of the Dean of Law there. It's past now. And until one day, the secretary told me, look, you have to see this young lady that's been coming here every day to see you. And then when the man asked me to come in, what do you want? I want to change the law. The man looked at me for a few minutes and thought, that's why you've been sitting outside my office? I said, yes. He said, I like your guts. If I take only one person from another department next session, you'll be you. But you must pass very well. Well, therein lies my problem. If I pass very well, what will happen? Chemistry will not release me. And if I failed, law will not accept me. Anyhow, I solved the problem myself. Because by the end of that session, I changed my mind about law. I'm telling you the story so you can understand that your journey can be dynamic, but your end goal, you can have a sense of it and a sense that you want to make something of your life. But you will discover things as you move. So I decided I didn't want to be a lawyer anymore, that I would now like to be an accountant so I could now work in a bank. So I stayed in my chemistry, but started taking all my free electives in Faculty of Admin and Accounting till I graduated. I used to pass their courses better than my chemistry courses. I went to Youth Corps in Kano, and I made sure that it was arranged for me to serve at Akitola Williams & Co., which is now Deloitte. Anyhow, I served there. By the end of the service, I hated the accounting. I did my job, but I hated the accounting. So when I finished and they offered me full employment, I turned it down. I said, thank you, but no thank you. Once I know something that I don't want to do, I don't waste my time with it. I move on to find what it is that I really want to do. So I left. And in leaving, I wanted to find any job to keep me busy whilst I was waiting to. And 1 week after youth service, I got a job in a furniture manufacturing company, supposedly just to kill time. Well, I spent the last 30 years of my life building a manufacturing group in furniture and security systems. An accident of life that set me on a long-term journey. But in reality, was that all my life was made of? Or is that all my life is made of? Because that whole manufacturing group is running. But you can imagine all the other things that I'm doing with my life. So what does that tell you? A sense that I want to make something tangible of my life, and I wanted to have a career, I build value, will self-interpret along the journey. And what were some of the choices I had to make? I made a choice when I was starting business, never to sleep with a man to get a job, not to pay a bribe. Why? I wanted to build on integrity. Tough as it was, I made that choice every day when I was faced with situations. And ultimately, it's those value systems that I became known for, because I had to practice it out for every transaction and every business. And it became my reputation. And that reputation that I did for my own sense of right and wrong, and the values that I'd been brought up with, became the attractive tool. When the wind in Nigeria changed to become a place that people were seeking to find men and women of integrity to serve on their roles. So I served on this board, that board, internationally, locally, and all of that. But it came out of a decision to do things in a certain way, and choices I had to make every day. And it led to places I didn't even think I was going. You have to have a sense of who you are and where you want to go, because it affects your life. Your actions of every day is leaving a trail of life. And every trail you leave has witnesses. And when it matters, the witnesses will speak for you or they will speak against you. How do you picture your life at age 70? Whatever that dream is that you can write down about how you want your 70-year-old self to be, you will then have the responsibility for working out the plan of how to arrive closest to your vision of where you want your life to be at 70. You don't want to be one of those men and women I meet every day who have too many regrets. You have the advantage of age and youth on your side, and it can only serve you well if you have a sense of who you are and what is important to you and where you're going. It will affect the decisions you make every day. When you see evil, you will run, because you know that this will destroy where you're going. You cannot be the girl that sleeps with every guy on campus. Why? Reputation is a currency. So if your 70-year-old picture is of a woman of honor and integrity and respect that is celebrated in different parts of the land, or even a woman that her children can look up to, that the neighbors use as an example, or the staff at work, that's an example of good behavior, character, and achievement. The things you will not do. Reputation is a currency. person you have met on this campus will remember you till you're 70 and 80. Some might not immediately remember, but they will remember the things that you did. You know, sometimes you remember stories without necessarily remembering the actual individual until someone reminds you. Every time you show up on a stage of honor, somebody is going to say, or isn't it that guy that used to steal people's shirts in the hall? Or that guy that cheated in the exam? Reputation is a currency. It will cost you in your future. So protect yours. When you're building the picture of your 70-year-old self, it means that you're thinking of how you're going to ensure that the actions you take now will support your ability to achieve it. Otherwise, you're already past the age where it doesn't matter. They're not in primary school and we can say, oh, she's only a child. Oh, he's only a boy. No. You are adults now. You're not babies. So now you are accountable for your actions. And the actions you take from this stage will show up in your future. Every day, I run into people I went to school with. Every single day on time. What will they remember about you? Now, it's possible you've already made some mistakes. But you know, because you have time, you can make up for it by resetting the pattern. If there are people you owe an apology, go and apologize. Do the right thing. If you behaved badly before, go and self-correct. Because when you go to someone and you say, you know what, I did something so terrible the last time. I just want you to know that I'm sorry. I'll never do that again. Even if the person needs to tell the tale in the future, the person will say, what? She came to me to apologize. I remember when we were on campus, or someone that I knew who was dating married men. Much later, she was married and all of that. She went to search for the wife of the person to apologize to her. Went to her and said, you know what? I caused you a lot of pain. I want you to know there was a time of foolishness and of lack of knowledge on my side. I want you to forgive me for the time and the season that I caused you and your family pain. When they see themselves outside, some might still be murmuring, that's their problem. But between them, there's good rapport. They would greet, they would hug. She's gone home, she has her own children. The other one's children are old, they're getting married or married now. So yes, you might have made some mistakes already. But if you're resetting your life with a goal, self-correct. The 70-year-old self is your luxury because you get to dream. What's even more important is the fact that you're young enough to reset the button. You're young enough to now put a plan behind the vision that you have and the things you will not do, because things last longer than you can imagine. Memories last. Reputation is a currency. You spend it or it will cost you. It's either a credit or a debit. Ask the accountant. They'll explain that to you. Next slide. This you can keep writing, like every other one of the questions, and keep adjusting as you find it necessary. Now, writing your vision of your 70-year-old self, don't forget at the beginning, we wrote, where are you now? Okay? So this question says, what is standing between where you are right now and where you should be? Not your 70-year-old self now, we're trying to do a gap analysis of where you are right now and where you think you should be. What is missing? What are the gaps? What are the deficits? What are the things that are missing? What are the things I need to correct? What are the things I must seek? What are the skills I need? What are the talents I must seek? What are the opportunities I must go after? What are the relationships I must build? What are those things that will support me to make up the gap between where you are right now and where you think you ought to be? What is the gap? When you list the gaps, then we can talk about the solutions. In my hand. Who's writing? Okay, keep writing. I have third class right now, but based on my vision, I need to have a 2-1 or a first class. What can I do from where I am to where I'm going? I was speaking to one of my nieces yesterday, and she schools in England, and she's been applying, she's studying law, and she's been applying for a job because it's her last year in one of the major law firms in England. And since last week I was in New York, she sent me a message and said, Auntie, I'm interviewing for this job. I'm at the last stage of 6 steps, and I need to make a presentation on so and so and so. But I just want to pick your brain for some ideas to help me with this. So anyway, I sent her some notes to help her with what she was trying to do. And then yesterday morning, she calls me and said, you're not going to believe this until I said, what happened? I got the contract. I got the job. It's the job. But the job comes saying, congratulations. As long as you graduate with a 2-1, you can resume the job on this day. So you have the job, you have the offer, but it's conditional. And a degree you do not have yet. So obviously, what is the next question I will ask her? Where are you in terms of your grades and achieving what they've set for you as a precondition to getting in? After working so hard through a competitive process of almost 1,000 applicants and only a few slots. And she goes, I'm already on 2-1. But I think I'm on the low end of it. For me to have guarantee of my 2-1 over the next 6 something, she's stated, I don't know how they count their stuff until this, that I have to have 3 of the portals or something have high 2-1s in order to achieve. So the answer is already there. So I said to her, well, that means you already know what to do. What does that mean? You must get to the ground and work like your life depends on it. Every paper must be written to be an A-star paper. Why? Because you already know that you need that. So it's the same for your turns. If you know where you're going, is when you can put a plan behind it. And then work conscientiously and diligently to ensure that your plan is executed. I've met a lot of young, diligent Nigerians in Nigerian universities who have worked their plan. Who, when, it's like you meeting me in the lift or at the airport. And you're like, I'm so sure I know about. Now, how many minutes do you think I have to talk to you? Depending on the time of day or the situation. It could be between a minute to 5. Or if you're lucky and I'm just sitting and doing nothing, like one young man one day tracked me to the lounge, came and said, AWOSIKA, aren't you? I said, yes, sir. And he said, can I sit with you for a minute? I said, yes. Luckily for him, I was just waiting for a flight. Remember, we were going to Abuja. And for the next 1 hour or more, because the flight was even now delayed, the guy totally had my attention. And we literally developed his business plan around the food technology business. And the guy has remained, he's had a relationship with me from then till now. But you know why he grabbed that conversation? He had things articulated. If you came to me and you were mumbling, I would have to excuse myself because time is opportunity cost. The time I will give to you is time I will be doing something else. And if you have something that sounds like you know what you're doing, I'm happy to make the sacrifice. But if you're just going to waste my time, I'm going to be nice and I will move you on so I can move on. Which is why it's important that you have a sense of where you're going, so that even in moments that you want to do stuff or you meet certain people, I'm sure I've shared here before in the past about a guy whose dream was always to travel abroad. And as a matter of fact, it was a story that is the current Vice President, Professor Shiba shared. Because he was Dean of Law or Head of Law in Unilag at that point, and the guy worked in his department. And the guy, as everybody that knew him, he always wanted to travel. And then something happened, some European Union something program, and they told Prof to nominate someone to travel. And it was a short-term thing. It was like a Thursday. The EU were going to issue the Schengen visa on Friday, and the person was going to have to travel over that weekend because the thing came late. And they thought, gosh, I'm about to make somebody's dream come true. And he told them to go and call the guy. He said, well, every time you told everybody how much you'd like to travel, or your dream is about to come true. I just got this letter. Go home and go and get your passport now. I need to send you to this embassy. And guess what? He didn't have a passport. True life story, not a joke. So when I'm talking about preparation and goals, it's real. There's so many people that talk about things but are not prepared for it. And there's so many people also that have no articulated vision of their lives. Because if you don't set the goals, you can't make a plan for it. And it's really important if you want to succeed in life. Yoruba people say, Ogun Omode Kunshereko for what? For do you know what separates them? Diligence, focus, and planning. They can all be smart, but it's irrelevant. So don't think that just because you have 2-1 or first class right now, and you're going to be the successful one in your class. No. If the guy with the third class is more focused, articulated, and organized in life, he or she will succeed ahead of you. I promise you. Because the game of life is different from your certificate. Your certificate helps you to get through the door. But other factors come into play. Once you get out, get in through the door. You better show up and show up in ways that can be recognized and you can be given value. What's standing between where you are right now and where you should be? Identify them. Like my niece, between where she wants to be at the end of this academic year and the job that she wants, is 3/4 of a grade she must make to secure the grade she requires. So, I don't know where you are now. I don't know if the place you want to work would only take you with a 2-1. And the fact that you're on 2-2 now, who says you can't move it up? And even if you finish with a 2-2 or a 3rd class, what do you want to do with your life? Because the end of it is not your certificate. That is the truth. I've seen people with a 3rd class then move on to get either a 2nd degree or take a master's in a field that enhances their opportunity and gain skills that makes them competitive and better than the guy with the 1st class. Guess what the employer is looking for? And tomorrow we have a session that will tell you about some of those things. It's the guy who can get up behind the desk and deliver value. It's not looking for your certificate. We use your certificate to sort out. Because if you have 100 spaces and 5,000 people apply, you're going to have to weed out one way or the other. That's all your certificate is useful for. After that, what keeps you in is your performance and your deliverables. And that's about you, your person, your personality, your relationship. How do you interact with other people? How do you relate with people? How do you create value for the institution and the organization? How much of a team player you are? Those are the things that make a difference. Can you succeed in business? It's about how you can relate to people, how endearing you are, how you can persevere, how you can be pushful, how you can be relentless in pursuing your dream and your goals. The factors at play. Once you identify the gap, then we start working on how you fill the gap. Next slide. Okay, like I just said, once you've identified the gap, then you open a new page, my strategy for achieving the goals. How do I solve the problem of every gap I have identified? And what is my strategy for getting to my 70-year-old self as I desire it? What will I do? What kind of man will I marry? And I'm not talking about you looking for a rich boy with a rich father, because that's foolishness. A rich boy with a rich father is not a rich boy. Or a rich man's son is not a rich boy, because his father's money is not his own. And there are many supposedly rich fathers who are living on debt. Come and ask me. Chairman of the bank, I can see the back end. So in reality, they have the look. Even the children don't know how poor they really are. If the man drops dead today, the whole family is in crisis. Even the house they live in, their father doesn't own. So if you then go and marry the guy because of that, you see, you're already in trouble. You'll have a grand wedding for one day. But guess what real wealth is? Cash flow. The guy who has the cash to put down when it's necessary and needed. But better still is if you're a girl, why can't you make your own money? So when you're thinking right, you're not thinking with the wrong parameters. Because when you can make your own money, you think about the character of the man, sense of responsibility, his diligence, his dedication, his ability to support your vision and your own ambition. His ability to be responsible as a husband and a father. And being responsible as a husband and a father is not about having all the money to put down to pay all your bills. No. It's a team working together to build. The best couple you will find in the world are the couple that are supporting each other to be the best of themselves. What is your strategy? You know, I don't know what your goals are. You're the one that knows it. So I can't tell you what your strategy is. I can only encourage you that in line with what you have written down, that you will take the time to reflect and look at all the factors that play. And behind each of the gaps that you see,
or each goal you have set for the future, that you draw some kind of plan. The plan might be fluid. It can change because of things in life will be revealed to you along the path. And sometimes you think this is the right way, and you get there and you realize this isn't working. It doesn't mean you have failed. As I always say, failure is a nonsense word. It means nothing. So some things might not work. But because you know the end goal, you can always rejig and readjust yourself in order to achieve your goals. If you're a girl who wants to become the MD of a bank tomorrow, you will not marry a guy who wants you to be the only one that will cook his breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The one who eats fresh soup every day that must be cooked by his wife. That's not your husband. Yes. He needs to marry a woman who spends her day painting nails, doing her hair, and not working. And then she can cook if she knows how to cook. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So when you're choosing, when you know where you're going, it affects who you choose to marry, whether man or woman. As in whether you're male or female, making your choice, you will consider the right things. That's my point. It affects everything. Who your friends are. If you're a serious person going somewhere, you will not choose friends that will distract you from the agenda. Why? The people who influence your lives will affect your end result. And who decides the people who influence your life? You. Don't allow accidental influencers in your life. Be deliberate about who you call your friends. Because and the day you're in trouble, the people who will speak to you in this situation, you must know how they think. If they think wrong, they will lead you in the wrong way on that day. Think of who your friends are, who your influencers are, and how they affect the goal you have set for yourself. That's why relationships matter. Know why somebody is your friend. You must know why they're your friend. Do they add value to you? Oh, no man, nothing but love. That's fine. Be cordial with everybody. That's good for business and for life. However, the people who influence your life every day are people you share your thoughts with, people you receive counsel from, people that if you are in a situation you want someone to talk to, you will turn to them. When you turn to them, what will they say to you? If you are honest with yourself, you already know the kind of person that they are. You already know how they think. In advance of your troubles, pre-select your influencers. If you're a girl and you have a girlfriend who is, I don't know the current word, who solves her financial problems with men, the day you have a financial need, she's not going to pray with you. And she's not going to encourage you to get a part-time job on campus or share what she has. She's going to tell you that, well, I can show you how to get money. And she will lead you along the wrong path. Because that's all she has to give. People cannot give you what they don't have. So be sure of the people you choose to influence your life. Because they will give you what they have. But the question is what they are offering, what you seek. If you're a guy and you have friends that do yahoo yahoo, oh, they're just my friends, I'm not one of them. In your day of trouble, they will show you the way. And you'll be so desperate, you will think you have no choice. So be careful. Be deliberate about who your friends are. Be deliberate about who your influencers are. Be deliberate about where you receive counsel. Because it matters and will shape your life and affect what happens to you. Your strategy for achieving the goals is yours to map out. Seek support, seek guidance, seek help where you need it. Like my niece called me to ask for support in making it. I didn't know she was going through a process, but she was already at the 6th stage. At that point, she felt I had content that would support her ability to make the right presentation to this global law firm. And I wrote some things and sent to her. And I didn't know anything until she called me to tell me. She called her yesterday to make her laugh. Her father or her mother did not know anybody there. she followed her own plan. So you know this niece of mine I'm talking about? Extremely brilliant. She finished all levels with 10 A stars. Yes, A star for every single subject. That's what she got. She was a scholar at one of the topmost private schools in England. And then went to A levels and got all A stars for her A level, 4 subjects. As a matter of fact, 5. And she had done 1 in her first year of A levels. But then she chose a course to study in university and went to UCL first. And by the end of the first year of that course, she realized she made a mistake. That she didn't like the course and it was not going to work for her. And she called her parents and said, I can't do this anymore. I don't like this course. This is a girl with all the stars in the world. She sent her to talk to me. We talked about it and all of that. And we agreed that look, if you pull out of school, your visa will become invalid. So stay in school and finish that year. But we already know that's not what you want to do. It's fine. And then she decided at that point that now she has found what she really would like to do, and she liked to go and study that. She took her results and then applied to LSE and was taken in for now at LSE, which is what she's about to finish. She sacrificed a year of school to make the right choice. Why? Because if you have a sense of where you're going, you then structure a plan. And if you're on the wrong route, you pull back from it and reset. And that's what she did. It was like, oh, your sister is going to end up graduating at the same time as you. Luckily, her sister is studying engineering, so she has 1 more year to go. So she still gets to graduate ahead of her sister, thank God. But it would not have mattered, because for her, it was about the fact that she realized that she didn't want to study that course, even though that was what she chose herself at the beginning. So yes, sometimes you will pay a price for where you want to go and to reset. Do it. Because the life you still have to live for the sacrifices you make now is much longer than the sacrifice of now. Are we communicating? Okay. What is your strategy? Don't forget, it's all yours. I'm not going to read it. But remember, to thyself be what? To yourself be true. So write the truth to yourself. It's a letter to you. It's a book of your life. And you're writing to yourself. So if you've written what the real issues are, you'll be able to develop the strategy and seek for every help you need in order to chart the course. Next slide. Now, some things are without question. I'm going to share with you some key things that will make a difference in your entire life journey. Your value system is all yours. It shouldn't be the value system of the society or the hall or the community or the people around you. Your right must be your right, and your wrong must be what you know is wrong. And you must have a moment with yourself to define your values. Define what your right is and what your wrong is. And you better be sure that you're not defining wrong as right. Your integrity will set you apart from the crowd. It will help you sometimes to jump miles ahead of the crowd. But sometimes it will destroy you. You know, they say a tiny hole can sink a ship. Look at all the stories of people being destroyed by character weaknesses now. So a powerful man, well, even Ife had their own story, didn't you? Of the lecturer that God knows how long you've been sleeping with the girls. True or false? But one day, he met his match. What's that? One girl that decided it was time to mess him up. There's always a day of judgment. And I'm very, very proud of the university that they did the right thing. Now, why am I saying that? Because for you as well, you might get away with sin or the wrong things for a long time, but there will always be a day and a moment of reckoning. And sometimes doing the right thing looks like you're disadvantaged, because you look around you and you think that you can see people who are doing well, doing the wrong thing. Don't be deceived. Time always tells a story. And you might be at this stage of the story and think it's rosy and good. Wait till you get to the end of the journey before you can tell for sure if it was profitable to do the wrong thing. I used to serve on the governing council of AWOSIKA. I don't know how many people were fired every time. Why? False certificates, non-academic staff, lecturers who had academic staff at different levels, who had different commas with their documentation that shows up sometime later. I remember there was a guy that used to work for me in one of the divisions of my business. He was supposedly one of our engineers for when you go to the banks, those security doors you walk through, that's us. It's a business I've done for about 24 years. And we're the first and the largest in the business. And this guy had worked with us for many years. He came with certificates, came with NYC certificates. You just know that, sent him to Italy for training. You just know that he replaces parts more than he should on bits that he was in charge of. But in reality, what did we then find out so much later? NYC came back to say his NYC certificate was false. It was forged. Now, the only reason you will have a forged NYC certificate is that your degree in itself is questionable. Because otherwise, if you need it to work in Nigeria by law, most people look forward to service. Of course, he lost his job. Unfortunately, the guy is dead now. He had an accident at his house. What am I saying? Your value system affects many things. Your integrity, your character, your dedication to duty, your work ethics, how you do your work. Are you copying other people to pass? Because it's okay if you copy people to get a grade, but don't forget, when you get the grade and the certificate, and you get a job because of the certificates, will you have people to copy to do the job? Then you will be exposed. So your agenda is short-term, it's not long-term, and it's not sustainable. And you might think I'm a fine girl, I can sleep my way through, or I'm a guy, I can go them. There will always be that one person that will see through your charade. Your value system will make you succeed long-term. Remember your 70-year-old self? If you're going to have a good story at 70, if your value system is wrong, somewhere along the path of your life it will show up. Would you like to be Tafa Balogun's son or daughter here right now? Do you remember who Tafa Balogun is? But at a point in time, would you have liked to be his son or daughter? He was the IG of police, was powerful, and he was rich, even though I don't know how much they paid policemen. Until all of a sudden the world came crashing, and everything was revealed and exposed, and he became a disgraced name that you wouldn't want to be identified with. If you plan to build a 70-year-old legacy, this is not negotiable. Just know that it is not negotiable. There might be many people doing the wrong thing around you, but I can tell you without a doubt that ultimately it will show up for you. You might seem slow, but you will eventually rule. I had two principles when I was starting my business. I was a 25-year-old girl starting a manufacturing company. I was never going to sleep with a man to get a job, nor was I ever going to pay a bribe to get a job. Everybody thought I was just idealistic and I wasn't going anywhere. Well, my company is 30 this year. The Chair Center Group, 1989 to 2019. We built on those values. Oh, there were painful moments. There were moments when you watch people that you knew were nowhere near you in terms of capacity or ability to deliver, who took the jobs and worked. But every time you lose something for the right thing, you've lost nothing. You have gained something. You have gained the courage to stand and to fight for what is right. And you have gained your integrity, a point at a time. And there's always a day of reward. I stand here today as chair of First Bank, chair of a few other organizations, both local and international, serve on the board of multiple organizations. Not because I was a minister or any of those things, but I started my small business from an early age and patiently and quietly built it on the right practices. Painfully sometimes. And it looks like I grew slowly but steadily for a time. It looks like many people sped ahead of me. But one moment in time, my cup was full. But it was my cup of diligence, of dedication, of integrity, of doing the right things. And the whole world, a different world, opened to me. My first major board appointment was Cadbury. Why? They had had a crisis. They had had what they call the AWOSIKA. And Cadbury International came to Nigeria looking to build a board of integrity. After they have now brought, since then until March this year, we've only had expatriate MDs at Cadbury since the AWOSIKA. Until this year March, when Yimika Adegoye, first female and the first Nigerian MD after the incident, emerged. Because as a board, the three NEDs, myself, Atelier Side and Dr. stood at a point and started saying, we need to get back. Our people can do this job. They can do it well. But the point I was making was, can we then? They brought a team to restore the company to glory. It took them 3 years. And the last thing they were meant to do was to set up a board of integrity. I didn't know anything. I was doing my own thing the way I understood it, and standing and fighting, sometimes crying because of the battle of integrity. Because when you lose what you know you deserve because of the right thing, it's painful, but you thank God for the grace of that moment. And they were looking for people that everyone would testify to their integrity. I told you earlier that your life, as you live it, you're living a trail. A trail with a full audience that you don't know is watching, but they're watching. Except you live in a locked room by yourself. You have a full world watching your life. And at the right time, they will speak for you or they will speak against you, based on what they see you do. Cadbury chose 6 people that they said they could trust in Nigeria. I gave them a long list of all the criteria that was met. They came up with the first list of 30. They gave them another list of criteria to consider. They ended up with a list of 8. Then they considered further, and ended up with a list of 6. When they got to the 6, these 2 British gentlemen started making calls and visiting. That's when I got a call. I knew I was in anybody's process. I had no clue. And this day, this gentleman came to my house. For the next 2.5 hours, we had a chat. Interviews at that level are chats. They're not formal. And over the next 6 months, that process will change. At the end of it, they chose 3 people. Myself, the 2, and a television. And all 3 of us have been on that board since 2009 to date. What is the point I'm making there? Everything you do in life will count for you. Just know that. So be careful what you do. Be deliberate about what you do. Be deliberate about making the choice not to do some things. Why? Life speaks. And your character, your integrity, your discipline, your diligence, your ability to embrace and engage with people, and the way you do things, and your word be trusted. If you're in business, people like to do business with people that they can trust. I would rather pay a little more to someone that I know that guy is trustworthy. If he says this is how much, if he says I will deliver tomorrow, he will deliver tomorrow. But it's a bit more expensive, but I prefer it. And the guy who is cheaper, and 6 weeks after, I'm still looking for him. It's your word, your bond. Can people trust you? Do you sell green as red? Or every time you say it's daylight, do people need to go out and check? Or can they just take your word for it? When you say, please, can I have 1,000 naira and return you tomorrow? Will they see you tomorrow, or they'll be looking for you 10 years after? Because even if I can't deliver tomorrow, do you have the integrity of character and of heart to go to the person to talk about your promise and say, I'm so sorry, I promised to deliver today, but this is what happened. I apologize. Please allow me this much time. Why? Because you're showing respect for the person and for your word. A matter. You will not be where people will talk about you concerning these things. You know what? Every door you need to walk through in your life, there's a gatekeeper. Somebody is standing at every door you will walk through. There's a man or a woman that will speak for you or speak against you. They are your gatekeepers. Sometimes you don't know them, but they have viewed you, they have observed you, they have seen the way you do things. You know, sometimes your parents say to you, "Iridi sini isonilojo," right? That's about how you appear, how you dress, how you comport yourself. Sometimes, before people hear you speak and know you're smart, they can look at you and say you're not decent, or you're badly behaved, and therefore, they do not even get to discover that you're smart and you can do the job. You need to be more deliberate about life. You know, in the days of sagging, you understand sagging, when the guys used to drop their trousers here. I'm a mother of boys, I have 3 boys. You know, every young boy thought it was cool. I remember that I used to tell my sons, when we were arguing about the sagging, I would say to them, show me the president of a nation with saggy trousers. Show me the MD of a bank you have seen that is sagging. Show me this person. I will give them different options. Show me. So I can see where your example, because it tells me where you want to go and how you will be perceived. Oh, my parents should not matter. It might not matter to you, but if it matters to the people that need to assess you, then it should matter to you. Why? Because it means you're strategic about positioning yourself for where you want to go. If they ask you to come for an interview in a bank tomorrow, and you turn up in a loose t-shirt and saggy trousers, and you think, I'm smart now, you will just find that they don't really ask you the questions. No, it's true. They will go through the motion. Because people can look at you and make a determination and decide that this guy will not fit in here. End of story. Now, if you know that that's a place you want to go, in advance, if you're smart, you would have investigated the environment of that place. You would have done your homework. You would have found out how you should comport yourself to be acceptable. You can reveal more of yourself as they have come to understand who you are and accept that you have value to give. You might be a little different, but you will also find out that there's nothing wrong with dressing well. For mothers of boys, we've all gone through, the boys want to grow afro, and you are saying, why now? And then at one point, they themselves say, Mommy, please, can I go to the barbers? And you're wondering what happened. But suddenly they realize that it looks cool, but it's not as cool as it looks. Your value system. Within that is a lot, and I want you to pay attention to it and be more deliberate about your life and how you do things. Why? You're building your legacy. It will show up in your 70-year-old story. This man, I cannot do business with him. He cannot be trusted. When they say something, you have to be careful. That one, when you hear the names of elderly people called their peers, you will be ashamed on their behalf. They won't say it in front of them. But when they have to talk about them behind, when you hear the names they call your friend's father, or a man that you think is somebody, and they tell you, that one, don't worry. We don't share stories of adults amongst children. Then you know there's a story they don't want you to know. Don't become that story. Make the choice to be the one that is the example. Next slide. Okay. So your life is multiple. And you're going to have to learn to juggle many different things. What supports your ability to juggle various parts of life is about the choices that you make every day. Now, this is the point where I speak a bit more to the women. Why is that important? Because society tries to define what the life of a woman should be, how far she can go, and how she should be limited by certain things. Yesterday, I hosted women directors. There's an organization called Women Corporate Directors. It's a global organization. And in Nigeria, it's managed by KPMG. And First Bank, we were hosting all the women directors yesterday morning. And our guest speaker is the group MD of Shell, Okubo. And one thing he said is that when he employs young people, he brings in about the same number of men, boys and girls, young men and young women. And that at the beginning, the girls are bolder, they're more courageous, they're smarter, they're sharper. The guys are still a little bit more intimidated and all of that. But that he's been trying to crack the code of why is it that 20 years after, the situation is totally flipped. The boys have become confident, assured, they've moved far in the career, and the girls seem to have disappeared. What do you think? Life happens to many girls. And one of the biggest thing of life that happens to many girls is the guys they choose to marry. True or false? It's true. It's the guys they choose to marry. Which is why I'm saying to you, don't marry a fool. Don't marry a guy just because he says, I want to marry you. Be sure that he's a responsible, decent human being who has respect for who you are and your own ability and the value you bring to the table. who has the capacity to celebrate your ambition and your vision. That you can work together to make the best team so that you can both achieve together. Be sure that he has the capacity to nurture and to encourage you and to help you become the best of yourself, because you can only give him the most value by being the best of yourself. And for you guys, marrying the girl that becomes the best of herself gives you double value. What do you think? My husband has gotten value or not? If you marry a girl to keep her down, you're foolish. Why? Before she met you, or before you met her, you saw something. If you met on this campus, she came to university like you, she must want to go somewhere. And if she becomes, I just told you the MD of Cadbury is female. There are 3 banks in Nigeria that have female chairmen. First Bank, Access Bank, and GT. There are many women who serve across different boards. There are many women who are CEOs of organizations. And many, if not most, are married as well. How will they not be assets in their home? Your life becomes a little easier because you don't have to work so hard trying to provide for her and your children. You can provide together for the family because she brings value. There's no competition between the two. We're different. We bring different value to the table. We represent different parts of a 360-degree view. You only have 180 of the view. God knew that you would need the other 180 in the woman to complete you. And you cheat yourself if your other half is a beaten down, unactualized part. You lose the value. And for you girls, just for wearing a white fancy dress in one day, don't say I do to anybody that is not able to support where you want your 70-year-old self to go to. Think. Don't be carried away. I don't care who his father is, who his mother is. Don't marry my son because of me. Marry him because he's the right man for you. And he has the capacity to help you be all of yourself as you help him to be all of himself. And as together you build a home where you can both find peace and satisfaction. The girls, life happens to the girls, and usually is that they have gotten married, and that one transaction has impacted heavily in their ability to move and drive. And it's real. I do this work with a lot of young women. I told you, I have the life series with women only and with men only. And I have this conversation with men only in September. And I was grateful to God for 6.5 hours of time of highly accomplished men. I have 2 guests with me that I invited. The MD of NLNG and the Chief Responsibility Officer of MTL. And between the 3 of us, we had an amazing time, the mindset of men, in order to help them have a happier life and a more accomplished family value, and help the women to truly be able to unlock value. Because if the women, 50% of Nigeria is female. If we can't get equitable value from the women will be overworked. You will die trying to provide for the 100% of the population. And our productivity can never grow beyond the extent that we're able to draw value from our women and our young people. That's where we have latent capacity. The women and the youth. So this is real. It affects the national economy and it will affect your home too. So if for any reason, let's just imagine, my husband has any financial challenges for a season, nobody will know. Why? I can cover. If I have serious financial challenges for a season, nobody will know. Because my husband will keep us going. Why? It means all that matters is that our unit works, that our home works for us, and that as a team, we can build together as a responsible unit of the society. It's really important that the girls understand that the power to choose right who they marry will affect their ability to juggle. It's impossible for you to juggle the various parts of your life without responsible spousal support. But by the time you've married the guy, if he's the wrong guy, it's already too late. Because when I get asked by the older women who are saying my husband is not, am I going to tell you to go and divorce? It's not my problem. But I can tell you to make sure you don't find yourself in that situation because you're not married yet. For those of you that are not. Make sure you are not tempted by, if the boy is driving his father's car, you think it's his car, better be sure he knows how to work hard enough to buy a car like that before you consider that he's driving a Mercedes. So, the boy who is driving Toyota Corolla, who has bought it with his money, is richer than the boy driving his father's Mercedes. That is the truth. Because if he knew how he bought the first car, he can work to buy another one. And it doesn't matter how you start. Just make sure the guy is responsible, is decent, is credible. He has respect for your own vision and your own ambition. I could not have come this far without a good husband. My biggest asset is the man I married. Apart from my God that God. I got out of my house this morning to leave home at 5:30. Do I have to be here? No, let's be honest. I don't. I made a choice and a commitment, and I always keep my word. But I can keep that word only because I have a husband who supports me to be myself. So I can wake him up at after 5 and say, I'm ready to go. And we can hold hands together and pray that I will go safely and return back safely. If I'm speaking on something or the other on TV, people are busy calling my husband. This is your way. And when my husband is in, you say, Madam, I just watched your speech. Fantastic, you did a great job. Well done. That's my husband. He's not thinking that this woman has gone to somewhere to speak to this or to governors or to this. No. He's thinking of the fact that I'm good at what I do and I'm passionate about what I do and I believe in what I do. And it matters to him because it matters to me. So I'm saying to you, you deserve to find the guy that will let you be the best of yourself. Until you find him, don't marry him. It's true, and I'm serious. And don't let anybody tell you, if you don't marry now, something's wrong with you. When you die alone. And your life is what you accomplish with it based on the assignment of your life. Your husband and your children are a subset of your life. Your life must work, all of it together. Your ambition, your vision from now, and you marry the right guy, and you support each other, you build the right home, and you raise children that you will be proud of, and you finish well, and you will finish well, and your home will be a testament of what it should be. Thank you. So yes, can you have it all? You can. Everybody tells the girls especially, you can't. I hear it too many times and it just frustrates me. You can have a successful career, you can have a successful home, and you can raise godly children. But you have to make the choices and make the right choices along the line of your life. It's important. It's the same for you guys. Because you think the girls are more vulnerable. Marry the wrong woman, you know. Go and find men whose lives have been scattered by the wives they married. And you know just how unsettling a disrupted home can be, even in your career. That's just the truth. Most men don't know there's a stage of life that for you to get a certain level of promotion, your wife is part of the interview. You don't realize it. There's certain levels of position that they don't call your wife to talk to her. But your wife is part of the interview by observation and by representation. Because imagine the chief executive of an organization. If you need to go out for a formal function on behalf of the organization, it's you and your spouse. If your spouse is an embarrassment, she'll embarrass the organization too. And if there are women on boards, they will tell you most times when they want to find out what a man really is, they find a way to interact with his wife, and they will judge him by that. So yes, your wife will be key in your progress in life. So find the right one and marry her. Because now I hear that boys look for rich girls to marry to. God help you. That amen is very good. Next slide. Okay. Now, the reason I put this slide here is because of the rate of suicide and the rate at which a lot of young people are giving up on life. Life happens. In life there will be hiccups. There will be things that don't work sometimes. But the fact that something isn't working for you now does not mean that it won't work for you tomorrow. Remember I shared my story of moving from one thing to the other and thinking I wanted to do one thing or I wanted to do the other and all of that. And when I finished the youth corps, went back to Lagos and said, okay, I wanted any job to start. The first job I found was in a furniture company. And a number of my friends went to work in banks. I wanted to go and work in a bank. But I thought, let me take this job to keep myself busy whilst I was waiting to find, I love the fresh air coming from him. Whilst I'm waiting to find my bank job, did I know that that was a detour of destiny? What seemed like a disadvantage became my advantage. Because as I was building my company, it looked like their life was easier, making good salary. Then, if you got a job as a graduate, you could buy a AWOSIKA. So a lot of young graduates finished and they could buy a AWOSIKA. And I was busy chasing carpenters and plywood and wood markets, trying to build furniture. But 30 years after, I remember the day I was appointed to the board of First Bank. I had friends who had worked in First Bank for 25 years. I went to look for them first. I didn't want them to hear the announcement on the outside. I followed my own route. They followed theirs. I could have envied them or despised their route. But my route took me in a different journey. It looked slower than theirs at the beginning. But at a stage of life, I paid the price of my route and built competence and capacity along the route of it. And at a stage, I was on skates because I then moved so much faster. And ultimately, my route took me to places that career could not have taken. So the life is yours. Sometimes things will not work as you think. But every part of your life or experience of your life is preparing you for other stages of your life. Every hiccup will have a value. You must learn to realize that there are lessons you can only learn except to walk through some routes. And the skills you will gain from there will serve you in other places. You know, I assume that part of my attraction to a Cadbury is that I run a manufacturing company, manufacturing furniture, and then manufacturing company. So of all of us on the board, apart from the expatriates who already work for the company, I'm probably the one with the most manufacturing experience. Because even all of the expatriates that serve on the board are finance people, they're operations, they're not operations, they're administrative people, executive management people. They're not necessarily production or manufacturing. So that's my experience. Past is fine. And you got it. So every stage of your life counts. Even learning to fail makes you a better entrepreneur. Learning how to deal with things that don't work. If you don't know how to deal with things that don't work, you cannot succeed as an entrepreneur. Why? In the journey of enterprise, you will find things that don't work many times. You're going to have to rethink and reinvent in the situation. You're going to have the ability to stay with it, to find a solution. You have to have the strength of character to fight through situations that enterprise can present. It makes you more rugged. In my work on boards, my experience in building my business over time serves me a great deal. Because when you tell a nice story, if it's in the bank, every credit looks right. By the time the paper always finishes well. But real life experience makes you look at things differently. And you can point out pitfalls that somebody with just finance experience cannot pick up. So your experiences in life, or your challenges, or your moments that things are not working, don't kill yourself over it. Time always tells a different story. Sometimes you look like you're behind. Nothing says you cannot find yourself at the top. Don't give up. Stay with what you do that you know you're doing right. Find the things you're not that you need to do better. Invest energy and resources in learning and picking those things. Keep your faith and your picture of your 70-year-old self. Work with what you have in the interim without losing sight of your long-term goal. Because when you get to the place where you will find you will have the right opportunity, you'll be able to take it because you have prepared your mind for it. Don't be anxious enough to give up on your life. I went through a very traumatic experience with some friends of mine 2 years ago. Their 16-year-old son, one of only 2 children of comfortable, successful parents, decided for whatever crazy reason that they had punished him by moving him from one school to another and all of the kind of things that your mind can imagine, and thought that a good way to punish his father was to take his own life. It's your life. It's your story. Sometimes it might look like it's delayed, but delay is not denied. Graduating at 19 or 20 is not an advantage over graduating at 25. So don't let anybody make you feel like something is wrong with you. Why? Maturity counts for something in the workplace. If I interview a 19-year-old and a 25-year-old, I promise you, except for exceptional circumstance or certain kinds of roles, except if the 25-year-old is a total disaster. The maturity of mind is a value add. So don't, whatever it is, celebrate where you are. Be grateful for what you have. Thank God for who your parents are. It's not about where you come from. It's about how you end your life. So it doesn't matter that there are 10 people living in one bedroom. When you're 40 or you're 50, will you be living in a 10-bedroom house? Or will you, from a house, a 10-bedroom house, now have moved to a 1-bedroom house? Because there are many children of rich people who are on drugs and are sleeping on the streets. Yes. So don't despise where you're coming from. Be grateful for what you have, but work towards what you want and where you want to go. Make it your dream. Where you start from is where your parents are. Where you end up is where you have walked to. Don't forget, it's your journey to define. Next slide. Now, I've talked about men and women a lot, but the reason I always like to show this slide is that when you leave school and you go and work, in most workplaces, there are more men than women, except some. And a lot of guys don't realize that the time and the season has changed. And even on campus now, don't destroy your life for a rape accusation. And I'm serious. If you're a rapist on campus, or you raped a girl, or you think it's fun, or your friends pick up a girl to rape, and they just drag you in, and you want to be a boy or a guy, and show that you're part of them, you will live with the consequence for life. Look at all the drama going on in the country now. It looks like old story, but see the point at which it has showed up. Sometimes it will wait for you until you're at the pinnacle of your life. Sometimes the girl you raped who is too ashamed to tell anybody, one day you will turn up in her father's sitting room looking for a major favor, and you don't realize that's her father. And then she walks in and sees you there, and she freaks out. And her father is trying to figure out why. And she doesn't say anything at that moment, but God help you when she does. It's true. Or it's not her father. The guy you need something from now, 20 years after, is the guy she has married. Yes. And she stops by the office to see her husband. And guess who is sitting in a meeting with her husband? It's you. And she's told her husband her experience, but didn't name the guy. May the Lord help you. This is real. I'm telling you that you need to understand. Guys do not realize that they can be at risk if they have no capacity to know how to handle women respectfully. Listen, let me dimension a woman for you so you can understand. I'll give you a simple example before I even try and explain it. One day, I was driving a car in Victoria Island, and they had just changed all the roads and the routes to one way this, one way that, and I didn't know the way. I was confused. I knew where I was going, I knew how to get there, but under the new one-way scheme, I didn't know how to get there. So after getting lost here and there, I decided that, you know what? I've been roaming around for a while. I'm just going to cross this road to get there. It turned out that short road I was going to cross is one way. And the police guys were hiding in the corner just waiting for you to cross it. But I was driving a Mercedes, and they jumped in front of me. And one stood by the door, another, and they said, "Wind down, madam." I walked down just a little and said, "Madam, wind down your glass." I said, "No, I'm not winding down more than that." So he said, you have to let me. I said, you can't come into my car. So I said to him, look, I apologize. This is where I'm going. I've been turning around and around trying to figure how to get there. There were no good signs to help you. And I've lost all the time. I apologize, but this is where I'm going. Please, let me just go. The guy looked at me and said, why? You have to wind down. We're going to the station. I was alone in the car. I was driving a Mercedes. It was brand new, actually. And there were 2 policemen. There was no way I was letting them in my car. So the second one now said to the first one, oh, you better let her go. Listen to his explanation. He said, you know, we're in VI. 1, 2, she's a woman. Okay? 3, do you know who her husband is? 4, do you know who her father is? 5, do you know who she's sleeping with? No. You better believe you are at risk. Because a man will kill for his daughter. A husband will defend his honor and dignity by defending his wife. Worst thing, if she's a mistress, the man will fight double. Because he's trying to impress her. But a multiplication to that is, do you know what her network is? Because you might just look at her. Maybe all she does is, as you are arguing, she picks up her phone and she calls you. It doesn't even have to be her boyfriend. It might just be her chaser, who is still trying to impress. You must learn to look at a woman as an asset to you and think of her as a collaborative partner and not an enemy. Whether she's your wife, look at her as an asset that has value, that can be deployed into your household. And you're still the head of that household anyway. And if she's your colleague at work, and you're nice to her, encouraging to her, supportive of her, you work together to achieve goals, women are loyal by nature. When a woman thinks you're good, she will fight your battle. She will reach beyond who you know to help you. If you are a colleague at work and you're in trouble, and she has an uncle who knows the boss, she will go to her uncle to beg her uncle to beg his friend because of you. That's a woman for you. A woman and a man, they're 2 different things. Women are not about bottom line. They're emotional by nature. They're loyal to people. And they move by how they feel. God help you when you're their enemy. Because the same factors will move them to destroy you. I am serious. The best wisdom a man can have is to understand that a woman is a massive asset when you handle her right, and a nuclear weapon when you make her your enemy. So if you are in school and you are righteously helpful to the girls around you, you finish school, everybody is gone in a different way. She might have the father that can get her a job the next day and meet you somewhere along the line and realizes you're still looking for work because you don't have the right connection. Most right-thinking girls who feel like decent human being who was good to them and that you have a friendly relationship and a decent relationship will go and use their network to help you. Every woman around you is an asset waiting to be tapped. But it's about how you make her feel and how you handle her. Handle women with respect and honor. When you do, you get 1,000-fold return in value. This is the truth. Don't listen to old tales. The woman of today is not the woman of yesterday. She's more powerful, she's more enabled, and she's more potent. She's not just the woman that sits at home and is totally dependent on her husband's network. And these ones you see around you today, where do you know that they're sure? Why for who? Governor, minister, MD, CEO, what? And who will they be themselves? The main lesson here for both of you, male and female, is treat all human beings with respect. The biggest asset you will ever have in your life will be people. Because every door you're going to have to walk through, there's a gatekeeper. It's not a dog. It's not a robot. Always a person. So every opportunity you have to interact with people, leave a legacy where you can still say good morning. How are you? You know, for those who are Christians, you think God was stupid when the Bible says, "Oh, no man nothing but love." It's saying be able to say hello. Because if you need help from someone and it's someone you don't talk to, how are you going to go and knock on their door to ask for help? Oh, no man nothing but love. At least be able to say hello to somebody. So that the day you need help, you can say, "Hello, sir. Hello, how are you?" Okay, that's what you've always said. But for once, you say, "Please, sir, do you mind if I ask you for help?" So, of course. Why? You've never asked before, but you've always left a door open of cordiality. Treat human beings like they matter because they do, either directly or indirectly. And in the world of today, the men are actually at a higher risk in the workplace. If you are used to harassing girls in school, when you get to work, you will go and misbehave as well. They will finish you. This sounds simple, but trust me, go and Google how many men have been destroyed in the last 5 years of Me Too movement. Actions of the past catching up with men of today. Don't become part of the statistics. Just remember, women can enhance what you do. Treat them well with respect. And women too, treat the men with respect. Learn to build friendships that have mutual respect. Next slide. Okay, I already talked failure lightly, but I usually like to talk about it in full. Don't worry. Forgot I have no, I want to time myself. I've talked about failure, right? Right? Okay. So let me leave it there. And if you go to my Instagram page, there's a 1-minute clip where I dealt with failure fully. Go and watch it. It's all I want to say about failure. And that it's just a 1-minute clip, but it tells you my entire mindset about failure. I don't believe in failure. You never fail in life until you die. Never. Why? Because what isn't working today, how do you know it's not going to work tomorrow? When you think, Temi Titon, Lady, how do you know that next week you're not shouting Temi Titon? Time always reveals surprises. You cannot give up on life because of hiccups or accidents of life, or because things aren't working now. And you might look at someone and say, they are the lucky ones. Wait till the story has finished. Too many people look like the winners until they ended up as the major, biggest losers. Walk the journey of your own life with confidence, but understand that there will be moments where things will not work. But everything will work together for your good. Everything never works as you want it, but at the end is how it ends that counts. So if this season isn't working, what do you know that the next season will represent? Our lives are lived in seasons. Don't despair in the challenging seasons. Learn to encourage yourself and to build a support system. And that's why who your friends and your influencers are is very important. People that will lift you up when you're down, so that you can stand and lift them up when they are down. But that at the end, you will all finish well. Don't look down on anybody. And don't allow anybody to look down on you. Celebrate people that are doing well and thank God for their lives. Your time will come and you will do well. Most important thing is that you finish well and you will finish well. Let's slide. Okay. Now, for the live series, I spend a lot more time answering questions than laying the foundation. It's deliberate. I laid the foundation to trigger your own lives, but because your lives are all different, I use your Q&A to establish the application. And it can come, your questions become the case studies for establishing the application. So I want you to be as open as you can. Normally, I take the classes in a much smaller class. I never allow more than 200 people. Why? Because it's a conversation, and it's a lot more intimate, and it's deliberate. So people can be vulnerable because they can share what, and I have a Chatham House rule when we're asking questions. Whatever people share is not for your gossip. If you don't respect other people's situation, then you have a problem. They're courageous enough to try to get answers to their own questions. If you make that your own gist, then you're a fool. So respect people's personal stories that they share, because you should listen to it, you learn from it. Are we in agreement? Okay, now, do we go straight into questions, or you think I can risk giving you a 5 minutes toilet break? No. Okay, all right. So how are we going to run this? How many mics do you have? You have 2. Okay, so bring the mic to the front then. I promise you, I'm sleeping in Ife tonight. I'm not going anywhere. I have no other work. This is all I came for. So if you have the time, I have your time. So I will answer your question. So be patient with one another. Don't boo anybody. Don't shout at anybody. If you do, I'll tell them to take you out. Okay, so whilst we're structuring the question, the Q&A program, I think what we'll do is they have a mic at each end. So we'll have people line up as far as the steps are. Once we get to the last step, nobody should join them again until we finish the sets there. And then we will take another batch there. Okay? Yes. So if you know you have a question, you can line up. Start falling into line. Once you fill up all the steps, then we're done on both sides. But while you're doing that, I'm going to invite the Vice Chancellor to say a few words. He's our host, and he has been so gracious in making sure we work together to do this. We come here because he has a vision to reach the students of the university, and we're a resource provider for his vision for the university. God bless you.
Well, great event. So I'm sure we're all very happy, to be here. And I must tell you that what we are experiencing today is something that this university would not have been able to afford in terms of payment. But we have Dr. Mrs. IBUKUN, AWOSIKA, providing this for us. and also the First Bank, free of charge at no cost to the university. And you must also agree with me that this is one of the very rare occasions when we will have this hall filled to capacity and also utilize the amphitheater. So it's not very common. So I'm glad that you have responded this way. And then I'm also happy to let you know that Dr. AWOSIKA has actually promised that this is going to be an annual program, and she has kept her word. So we're really very grateful, man. I want to briefly, because of what we're having here, I have a few points here that I want to share with you, but I want to let you know that just as we have been discussing here, we've heard from her, she did not just get to where she is today. She had a vision and she kept to that vision. So I'm going to share part of my own life experience because this is an opportunity. So just briefly, just to underline what she has been telling you, because now, several years ago, I was also, like you here, maybe about 42 years ago, I was, not very long, just 42 years. So, but by the grace of God, I must tell you that 19 years ago, I became a professor in the same university where I was a student. So, but there are certain things to share with you. The first thing, that I will want you to know is that Dr. AWOSIKA is not doing this for us because she has the money or the contact and everything. She's doing it because she understands, what it means to sow into people's lives. And that is what is lacking in many Nigerians. So I want to let you know that just as somebody is sowing into your life now, when you leave this place, you must also endeavor to sow into other people's lives. And then you become greater and greater. But if you know and you have the resources and you don't give to others, then that kind of person diminishes. So I want you to hold on to that principle. Then the other aspect of it that I want to emphasize here is the fact that life has no rehearsal. Here we've had a lot of drama and everything. So you practice and everything. Say, no, you didn't do that well. You go back again and practice. And then you come and present the right thing. Life is not like that. There is no rehearsal. So whatever you do in life will come after you, and that is the point she has been emphasizing. You may not understand it. You work in a place and then you don't leave a good legacy there. She emphasized that. So it will come after you. So, and in my own case, I want to tell you that I've been given an appointment at least 5 times without writing any application. No application. I left this country, I went to the UK. After about a year as a Commonwealth scholar, the professor there said, you must work with us in this department. And I said, no, I must go back to Nigeria because I had made up my mind what I wanted. I wasn't going to stay overseas, I was going to stay in Nigeria. So, and he said, I will leave the job open for you after 6 months. If you still want it, write to me. And after 6 months, I didn't write. Then he wrote to me and said, Topi, do you still want that job? I said, no, I'm back in Nigeria and I'm settled. I didn't write an application for that. Dito, I went to South Africa. The department gave me an automatic job there. And I said, no, I don't want it. I want to come back to it. They said, in that case, we'll give you a visiting professorship. Come anytime you like. Spend 4 weeks, we will pay for everything. They retained an office for me. I still have an office there. He said, anytime you come. So, but you must be hardworking, you must be honest. If you are honest, you are hardworking, and then you have a vision, nobody will truncate it. On occasions, people have come to this university. My friends in the oil industry, they say this company wants to establish a clinic and everything, and then we want you to come. When we were earning like 15,000 naira a month here, some of them were earning 80,000 per month in the oil companies. They tried to pull me. I said, no, I want to be in the university. But today I'm vice chancellor because I kept to that vision. So that is what, you are actually being told. I just feel that I must share this with you. And then I think one more thing that I must emphasize there, that I think is very, very important too, is the fact that no matter your level today, you can make it. No matter your level. I'm sure it will surprise you if I tell you that I'm the first graduate from my own family. It will surprise you. The first graduate from my family and the vice chancellor of Obafemi Awolowo University. Not a private university, not a second generation university, but a first generation university. So my father happened to be a teacher, and then he attended the University of Ibadan, but only for the associateship course. As a grade 2 teacher, you go and do 1 year, and then you get the associateship certificate. But in terms of somebody who can be regarded as a graduate of any university, I happen to be the first from my family. So you can make it to any level. To any level. Provided you know what you are doing. And provided you have that vision. And provided too that you are God-fearing and honest in all your dealings. Then I also have a point here that I think I want to say here too that, wherever you go, I said, you must be able to tell people what you want and what is right for you. When we were in the primary school, we used to have a song. I didn't understand, what it meant, at that time. They say, wherever you go, wherever you be, do not say yes when you need to say no. So, do you understand the meaning now? When the answer to anything is no, learn to say no. Don't say yes because you want to please some people when you know it is not right. So I want you to imbibe that. Then the other thing here is that arising from this program, I'm saying this to Dr. AWOSIKA for the first time. Arising from this program, we have decided in the university that we will incorporate entrepreneurship fully into our curriculum. So, in fact, the last discussion we had was the fact that we will expand this and have 3 days from the university but we discussed and we said no, we really need to go the whole hog, and that entrepreneurship must be incorporated into our curriculum. And then the committee of deans and all of them are working together. We have taken an inventory of all the facilities within the university and what we can use for that. So and we're also, in terms of even those in engineering, we are putting up some buildings for them as workshop and whatever, so that at the end of the day, when you graduate from Obafemi Awolowo University, we will not only be able to help you to refine your vision, just like what Dr. AWOSIKA is doing now, because she's still there for us to assist us. We will also be able to equip you with a skill, and then the resources that will enable you to be able to stand, on your own. So, and that is one thing that we are doing in the university. And then lastly, I want to say that there are certain things that we know and we understand. If you can think of something, then you can make it happen. If within you can think of it, then you can make it happen. Very recently, we said that the university was going to have an airstrip. And then I understand that some students were going around the halls of residence to say that it is the money for their welfare. that is going to be used to build the airport in Ife or something. Or something like that. You know, so it was very amusing to me that, you know, we still have some of our students, you know, thinking like that. If you have a question or anything, you ask. You don't go around saying things that are not possible. Over 30 years ago, or let's say about 30 years ago, this university established the Rectors, Regional Center for Area Service, Area Training and Service, Rectors, which is now Afrogist. And part of that program was to have an airstrip, you know, for the training and everything. And 9 governments from West Africa actually signed an agreement to say that they will support that airstrip here at Obafemi Awolowo University. So what we are doing is to renew that. And we have spoken with them and they have agreed that that is what they are going to do. And we have the land, you know, to be able to do that. So we're not doing anything that is not possible. So, but it's only that people have to be able to keep to that vision and be able to entrench it. You can imagine if this university was to be established today, what some other people will do. It will not be like the secondary school because of the warped vision, you know, that so many people now have in this country. And that is what people like Dr. IBUKUN AWOSIKA is trying to renew, you know, in all of us. That our vision must be very sharp and very direct and very, very realistic. And that is why we want to thank you, ma'am, you know, for the job that you are doing for Obafemi Awolowo University. We just hope, you know, that God Almighty will continue to renew your strength such that, you know, waking up at 5:30 to be here to work for the whole day and work against tomorrow and everything is not easy. But when you get to our level, you know, please continue to do that. So don't feel too weak, you know, to help others. And we're here, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic is here. The others, we're having our appointment and promotions. I'm sure they will also be joining us. We are quite pleased that you are here and that you have turned out, you know, in this large number. And please, don't let this go down the drain. Whatever you gain from this, make sure that you implement. And that will be the joy of putting together this program. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Hello.
Okay, so we're ready with the questions. Short, sharp, precise. Okay, let's start. I'll take 3 questions and answer. Next 3 questions and answer so that we can save time. Technical. If you think we're done and you want to leave because it's Q&A, then you're not strategic. Because what happens with question is you draw out more learnings that I've shared through the questions. So it's part of the teaching. And I'm deliberate about allowing a lot of questions to draw out deeper than what I can even continue to share talking to you alone.
Thank you very much. My question is with respect to juggling the balls. So which is a better optimized approach? Is it to multitask or is it to focus on a task at a time and achieve results and the next? Which is a better optimized approach?
Next question then. Guys, don't mess us up with this your mind. You can't be running around with minds back and forth.
I want to ask a question based on the first 2 questions you gave us. I find it difficult really answering myself. Question 1 says, where are you right now? Question 2 says, who do you think you are? What are the things I can consider in my life to be able to answer that question accurately?
Okay, take the third question from there, just to save your trouble.
Hello, ma'am. So I have 2 questions here. The first is, what is the best way for an individual or business owner to deal with loans? That's the first question.
To deal with loans?
Loans, yes, ma'am. And the second question is, how do you balance being a successful woman in career and business and being a wife and a mother? Did you have to slow it down when you had kids or something? How did you do it?
You're literally asking the same question as the juggling the balls. Okay, let me answer the three and then we'll take your other question. So your question was, is it better to focus on one and all of that, which sort of ties to our question. You know, a lot of people, when you start life, what I would, I'm going to fight you. What I would advise is always focus on one thing first. Let me explain. See, the first thing you focus on allows you an opportunity of expressing yourself. It allows you to gain credibility with people. It allows you to show what you can do. And when you have, it's like you're a young woman or a young man, you're out of university, you've taken your first job. In your first 2-3 years of work, the way you work, the credibility you build, the habits you have, the way you show up, helps the people around you to measure you as a worker. If in the 4th or 5th year you then get married, and you become a wife, and you're pregnant and have a baby in 9 months, and during the pregnancy you have some challenges, but they know you. Because in the time of work, they knew how you worked. And you've been ill a lot because of the pregnancy. Any right-thinking boss or organization knows that it's not a sickness to be pregnant. It's a natural factor of life, and women react differently. And even within that, they see your commitment to your work in the best that you can. You will find that you don't lose as much as you will. If before you were pregnant, you were useless. When you became pregnant, you became worthless. Because your pregnancy becomes a perfect excuse for everything. That is a perfect moment where your credibility or your track record will speak for you or against you. And you see, in terms of juggling as well, the thing about juggling in life is, because you're asking, how do I manage? First, you must understand what your strengths are. You must accept your weaknesses. You must also know that you're not a superwoman or a superman. Nobody is. And that to do the things that you want to do in life, you need help and you need support. And one of the best you can do is to learn to delegate to others. Be strategic and smart about how you do what you do. I showed you a woman trying to hold the different things together. If, as young women, you have married the right guy, I'm going to link them all together for you now. If you married a guy who has respect for you as a woman and respects your own vision and ambition as well, he's not likely to demand that you must send him cooked lunch in the afternoon and pound yam for him at night. Because that would be an unreasonable thing. If you both work and you come home in Lagos in traffic and come home in the evening. Now, how can you solve that? He can still have his everyday soup. It just means that his career wife might not be the one that is cooking it. But she will ensure that there's fresh soup in the house. How she arranges it, that's her own problem. Because every woman must work out her own salvation of how to make your own work for you. Do you understand? Between having the right house help
my chairman, sorry.
and being kind to your house help because you know you need her or you need him. And you don't treat any people anyhow, forgetting that they're a major part of your life. The only reason I got to Ife today and I could pick up the microphone immediately and start talking, somebody else drove, not me. I'll be foolish to think my driver is a useless part of my life. Why? My driver is key to my life. Respecting him and treating him well means I have wisdom, because my life is in his hands when he's behind the steering wheels. If he chooses to be insane, we'll all die together. No, I'm just saying to you that you need to think rationally and organize your life. Let me give you an example. I have 3 sons. My first son now is 28, my second is 25. But my baby is 17. I had him, he's 10 years younger than my first, and he's 7.5 years younger than my second. So my kids were in 2 generations. I was sure I was done with my 2, and my life has always been on a fast track. As in, I started my business before I got married, so I've been building a manufacturing group before I got married, and continue to build plus the rest of my corporate life along the path of raising my children. But by the time I was having my 3rd child, that was tough, because it was more difficult because of the level of commitments that I had. I must find my own comfort without trying to impress anybody. So one of the things I did was, I knew that I will always have the house help, but you know house helps, sometimes they're wired differently. You can get up in the morning and disappear. So I decided to always create excess capacity in my house, which means if I have one, if I need one, I have 2. So the day one leaves, I will still have one while I'm replacing the second. By chance, both of them go. Instead of taking my son, as I did with my first, to my mother-in-law every morning, when I had my second, I asked my mother-in-law to come and stay with us, and she lived with us for 20 years. I didn't think that my mother-in-law is a witch, and therefore I didn't want anybody's mother in my house, because the loss is mine. My husband lost his mother, and they knew each other before I came. So how can it be difficult to love his mother for him? If I love my husband, I will love his mother for him. And at the end of the day, she was my blessing, because always having a safe, secured adult in my house, even though the house girls were there, made sure that my children had that extra eye that looked out for them in my busy life. The other thing I did is I had cousins that lived with me that I was raising. Why? It gave me an extra layer of cushion for the day that the 2 house helps disappear. I will still have someone that will help me, so I'm never left handed. You must make deliberate decisions for the place you have decided that you want to go. Remember, you make your own strategic plan of how it's going to work, but you do them in stages, obviously, because if you want to succeed in life, you don't rush everything. If you are running 3 businesses on day 1, when you haven't proven yourself in one, nobody will trust you with any. When you prove yourself in one and you build a track record, when you want to open the next one, people have something to measure you by, and they follow you. So it's really about that. And part of my balance is that my husband and I are a team. That's my last one. When he was in nursery school, or primary school actually, I prepare him in the morning for school because he will never let the house girl leave his bath. I will dress him up, take him down, give him breakfast, pray with him, put him in the car, and wait until the car disappears. These rules. And in the afternoon, because my factories are in multiple locations, and I could be anywhere in the meeting, my husband was more stable. His office was more set on the island. It's his driver that picks my son from school in the afternoon, so that my son doesn't end up in school with no parents to pick him up because I'm at the other end of town. So you work out what works for you. One day, my son's teacher said to my husband when he went in the afternoon to say, we don't even see Black pursues mommy. I went to their school to fight. Because nobody is going to get into my business and define what works in my home or not. And I went to the headmistress and said to her, you teach your teachers to mind their business and not get into other people's businesses. Why? Because my husband came home and said to me, oh, so I learned in school. And I said, why? He now told me what happened. So they don't know how we run our home. They don't know how we have agreed to work our life together. That's our business. It's nobody else's business. And it works. Morning is my shift. Afternoon is a shift. After all, it's our child. It's not my son. It's our son. It's his son too, as it is my son. And we both have responsibility for him. And we respect each other and work together as a team. So your spouse is key. And the rest of it is you must build an infrastructure around your life that enables you to live the life that you want to live. Have I helped you? Thank you. Third question was, how do you answer? What's the first question? Where are you now? Mr. Man, who asked me that question? Yes. The first question, where are you right now? What do you think you are? Okay. Where are you right now is in the stage of your life. Where are you? Are you where you want to be? What are you doing? Relative to where you should be. Do you understand? I don't want you to tie it to functions or actions. I want you to evaluate your person and say, where I am right now, I'm trying to figure out where my future is. I'm trying to figure out what my career is. I'm trying to do this, or this is what I'm doing. Do you understand? For each person is different. I'm trying not to be prescriptive because you guys will follow what I say. And that's because it's different for each person. I always refuse to give the answer because I don't want you to just copy what I say. I want you to think about it, like I say, where am I right now? I'm in a place where, for me personally, I'm in a place where I understand that of all the things I've done along the path of life, trying to figure out myself, that my biggest strength and talent is strategy. That my mind works like a machine. And that I'm able to apply myself in different scenarios in a way with an analytical mind to create solutions and find solutions for situations. Now, that's who I know that I am. But where am I now in applying that? I'm in the stage of my life that I call developmental entrepreneurship, which means what is most important to me right now is using my talents and my resources for building a better and a bigger society and building lives. So in whatever form and shape I do that, I'm here doing this, and I've been doing life series quarterly, not because I have the time, because I have decided it's important to me. And it fits in with where I feel I am and what I want to do with this season of my life. Does that help you? See, I haven't talked about my husband or my children and all of that, but they're critical parts of my life. But they're different from who I am. I'm not defined by that. But I'm talking about your person. How much? South Celeste. Loan. Oh yes, loan. Okay. Now that depends on where you are in terms of your business. All right.